What up, Marrickville Coaches crew? I am here to talk you through block 1 of our gymnastics cycle. The main focus of this particular cycle, I mean across all of them, but this one in particular is positional strength and awareness. We're going to use 2 key skills to go or base these sessions around, which is toes to bar and handstands. Basically, it's going to cover a whole bunch of our foundational positions through those 2 movements. And yeah, let's go through each of our key points. So the block is going to be 8 weeks long, this particular block, and most of them will be 8 weeks in length. The main things we're going to focus on this side of the board. So universal, hollow, and Superman body positions. Basically, when we're talking about a universal position, we're looking at a hollow or a Superman body position that covers the shoulder, the midline, and the hips. What tends to happen, or is a common fault, is that you'll see athletes who are curved through 2 portions of the body but then miss another portion. So that's when you might see someone kipping, they've got a nice shoulder position, midline's there, and then you see their hips pop up into a pike position. So throughout this 8-week block, we're really going to be focusing on, should they be in a universal hollow and Superman position? 99% of the time, yes. And if they're not, finding some adjustments or giving them cues to correct that last portion or the portion that is missing. So that's number 1, something that's really, really important. Second one, open shoulders. So now if we're talking a little bit more about handstands, open shoulder position is when we have 180 degrees, one straight line through our shoulder joint, okay? If we're going through things like handstands, it is essential for progressing into holds, into walks, to have that joint nice and open at 180 degrees. If it is not, you're going to see when people kind of bend through the back, they compensate further down the line. It could be a strength issue, it could be an awareness issue, it could be a mobility issue. What we're trying to do is scale back their movement. So if, say, for example, it is a mobility issue, they can't get into the correct position, we're going to scale them back to a movement where they can. Feet on boxes, whatever it might be. We're trying to teach that joint how to stay open for as long as possible throughout that movement. Next one we've got here is compression. So that's a big one when we're talking about things like toes to bar, and across all gymnastics movements when we go into things like ring muscle-ups, bar muscle-ups, and we're trying to close the angle at the hip joint. So that's what compression is. When your athletes are saying, why are we doing this stuff? We're trying to get better at closing the angle on our hip joint. With that, it really kind of relates in with our hip flexors, and we'll be doing a lot of kind of hip flexor drills. If you have athletes who are like, hey, I'm cramping in through my quads, that's okay. Eventually they'll strengthen their hip flexors, they'll start to use their midline a little bit more, and we're gonna, really explore a lot of that compression and hip flexor work. If we jump over to the other side of the board, in this first block, one of the things we'll start with, there is no level 1, 2, and 3 progressions. So I normally say level 1 are my advanced or elite athletes, level 2 is like my general RX, and level 3 are my modified athletes. There won't be any scales through this first block, as you're going to be jumping on a whole bunch of new movements, and it's already a lot to get your head around as is. So there's just going to be one universal program, and you guys are going to learn to kind of like scale that up, dial that down as you need to. So if you need to add a couple more reps for someone, if you need to say, let's hold for another 10 seconds, something like that, that's fine. But the goal is tension and position. So if these guys are working hard enough and they are absolutely maxing out in their hold, most people won't need any more time under tension. They will be already pretty much maxed out. Next thing, please make sure you read each session 1 week in advance. I know we all say that's great, or you can go through a bunch of sessions. If there's anything that you're unclear on, I need to make sure it's a week out so that I can give you more information before you coach that session. Kind of the progression in that is, make sure you've watched the video, read down on your coach's notes or descriptions, make sure you've gone, okay, this is the purpose of this particular drill. And then if you're not sure, email me, that's totally fine. Finally, and you guys will know this, if you need to modify for someone, these drills should be good for 99% of your population, but if there's something you're unsure of or anything like that, feel free to, put your own spin on something or go back and research something later. That's 100% fine. So anyway, this is a little coach's overview of this block, and I'm looking forward to you guys pumping through your first 8-week block.